This is Ken Pyle with VOD TV. We're at the American Cable Association's 20th Summit anniversary. We're with Jim Gleason of NewWave Communications. Jim, you were among the founders, you and your brother are among the founders of ACA. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the motivation that you had for starting it?
Well, you know, we go way back to the early 90s when regulation was promulgated up here in Washington, and what happened is that smaller, more rural cable was just completely forgotten, or it turned out that it was treated just like big urban cable, and that really wasn't true, and that the advocacy groups that we had at the time just didn't work. And so we all got together and we said we kind of got to get together or we're going to get separated. So.
And you know, I heard from another, I think it was Tom had mentioned that it was a challenge kind of getting people behind it, right? Getting membership?
Well, sure, it was very hard. I mean, there were established organizations that probably should have represented us, but we're different. And ACA got started to represent cable operators like we are in a different fashion to really tell the story of how we're different, and that's been a big deal.
Well, and it seems like even the organization itself is a little different. They're not headquartered in Washington like most groups like this.
That's right, and you know, that's by design. And I think it helps a little bit to be able to call up in Washington and say, I'm from Pittsburgh, and I'm going to come see you. And but the ride has been really, really good. I mean, our organization has changed so dramatically from those early days, and the advocacy now is just so much better. I can't see it ending.
Well, you definitely have an impressive roster of people we'll be hearing from, Washington types.
Absolutely. I mean, we had several speakers today that we would have never seen 20 years ago or even 10 years ago, and so the organization is really on solid footing.
So from a, you know, if you were starting it today, which you don't have to, fortunately, but if you're starting it today, what would be the motivation for starting it? What regulatory change would you want to affect?
Well, I'll be honest with you. The reasons to start it today are the same as they were 20 years ago. I mean, small cable is still different than the largest MSOs. And in fact, with industry consolidation, it's probably even more so. And so the issues that affect smaller cable operators are even greater today. And so the issues of bargaining, whether it be retransmission consent, programming, or other issues, are still even bigger for big cable operators as they are compared to small cable operators today. So the issues are still the same, really.
Yeah, that's what I kind of sensed that. From a membership perspective, it seems like it's expanded as well. The scope has expanded slightly.
It has. I mean, we really represent everybody but the largest cable operators. And so we've got larger operators but still operate smaller systems. And I think their issues remain the same. We also have a lot of independent telephone companies that are members now that offer video services. So things have changed, but in some respects the issues are still the same.
And from your customer's perspective, which is ultimately who you have to satisfy, what do you see, you know, if you were to ask them, what's their biggest challenge with the telecommunications right now? What do you think they'd say?
Well, our customers want the best video services, the best broadband service, the best phone service in our markets. And so what they want us to do, I think, is to make sure that our rural communities aren't treated differently than big urban metroplexes that are operated by big cable operators. And that means they want competitive offerings at the right price that are similar type services. And I think our advocacy group is up here to make sure that we have the same opportunities, but our customers have the same opportunities as urban customers do.
That makes sense. Well, Jim, I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.